Well, I've invented a pill that gives worms to ex-girlfriends.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Fantastic Comics Presents. This is our 42nd episode, no title. Maybe that is the title, no title. For those of you that don't know, we are a comic book store in Berkeley, California. Let me do this really quick. And we're also a comic book show. We run down information about comics that are coming out, things about the comic book industry, or just things that are related to comics, along with reviews and previews and whatever we can actually remember to do. Sometimes we get off track a little bit. I'm sure today we will, because it's not very well planned out. Although I've been doing a lot of work for it, not all of it is actually going to... All the work I did was not necessarily going to make it to the show. It might be there for later. Some fail safes, if you need, if you will. Anyway, we are in Berkeley, California at 1708A MLK Jr. Way. We are open Tuesday to Saturday from 12 to 5 p.m. You can contact us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I think that's everything. Anyway, Fantastic Comics. Oh, YouTube, right here. And yeah, I really appreciate any conversation. Don't waste my time. I'm just trying to sell some books. But also let me know what you like and what you're looking forward to in the chat, or maybe afterwards in comments down below. First up, I'd like to... I know you're not really supposed to apologize, but no one has really asked me to. And I think I'll come out and say I'm sorry for cursing as much as I did, especially within that first 15 minutes parameter that we don't really like to get into it. Earmuffs and all that. For the kids, I mean the adults, we don't want them to know that we have such potty mouths. Sometimes we get excited and those things slip, and I definitely imbibed in the blue language, and if that insulted anybody, I'm sorry. We do love our people that are out there listening to the show, and we'd love to have comments from everybody, and if you can forgive me that one moment. I'm gonna do it again, I guarantee it. Speaking of people that likes to cuss like a sailor, let me introduce you to a Bruja. Bruja, how's it going?
Pretty good. I see how it is. No, you know what? Fair.
Well, I mean, slipping's one thing and getting excited is another, but I was going off. And I knew as I was saying, I'm like, I probably shouldn't be.
Especially when you get like you and me and Jeff together and we're in a subject, we can go off the rails. Like,
well, and not only that, but I mean, number one, I didn't know we were going to have that conversation. And two, when I'm off the cuff, it doesn't make sense half the time. And I admit that. And it kind of came around at the end, but if nobody was invested enough to want to pay attention, it really wouldn't matter. Ultimately, I don't know, maybe people heard there was like this election going on. And on top of it, we were kind of talking about abstractly, we were talking about the way people report things. And ultimately, we were talking about comic books. And I said that anybody that reports anything in comics is a joke. And it's not like, they're actually getting paid real money to, put these articles and things out. It's clicks and all that other stuff. And when you have to worry about clicks and you make clickbaity titles for your thumbnails for your videos or your articles, and even the New York Times succumbs to these types of tactics just to get views. Anyway, there you go.
It just seems to be how like news entertainment is. So I don't know. Like I can't even keep up with news anymore. I know I should, but I can't tell what's real anymore. Like you said, things are just clickbait, and then I go to actually read the article, and then there's nothing of substance or information written in it, and I'm like, why did I just waste 3 minutes reading this article? So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to take a break from all that, and I got plenty of books to read. I got several shelves of comics. Like, you know what? I don't need to read politics.
Well, and I was saying that, and it's because I wouldn't have a well thought out idea. There's a lot of people that were real reporters that lost their jobs because the circulation of newspapers and magazines and things like that are in a crapper. And, it kind of resembles comic books, but I think comic books are better off right now, probably. But that's where we see blogs. And initially when we were seeing blogs, a lot of people might kind of crap on those. But the thing is like, we got to realize, these are people that, were reporting, and now they're reporting in a different way.
Right.
And now it's gotten to the point where everybody's doing it at any time. I mean, anybody can have a show on YouTube. I have, but I'm mostly about comic books, and I've been in the industry in one way or another probably for like the last 15, 20 years. Oh, wait, 20. Oh, geez. Hold on a second.
Yeah, you're getting old, bro.
Wow. No, well, I mean, if I was working in a store in 2000, I'm really old. And also, I was trying to break into comics for sure all of my 20s, or at least the first 7 years of my 20s. So 27 years maybe invested in comics, not to mention just reading it as a child and all those other years beforehand. And, where all the informative stuff seeps in. I can't get rid of it anymore, but all the other stuff is gone.
That's what I was going to say. Like for someone who is, not a millennial, but you did grow up all the way from childhood into comics. Now you have a comic show, you have a comic shop. How do you feel about how comics have evolved in the last 40 years?
I usually
nebulous question.
Yeah, again, something we hadn't really thought about or talked about. I ultimately go back to when I was younger and was reading comics then, and it's probably the stuff I like the most. That doesn't mean things aren't out that I like now, as much as then, but the newness and the fascination hadn't been exhausted yet quite like it has now. And I see a lot of comics and a lot of comic companies and it's just like on YouTube. It's just like music. It's just like anything. If there's an avenue for anybody right now to do anything they want. I mean, if I had a green screen behind me, it could be a big old space scene. But, even the limitations of Streamlab or StreamYard, I can still do this. Woo,
Hey, that's fun.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I'm just saying like this stuff is available to anybody to do something if if they have any ingenuity or even just want to do it. There's a lot of people out there that, collect a lot of, old VHS tapes and old animations that are from like, public access and stuff like that. And
you just love calling me out, don't you?
You do all that?
Oh,
really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
You should see, like, I have at least like probably 10 VHSs of the original Pokemon episodes. I have like that BBC the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe series that they did back in the day. I still have my dad's A New Hope VHS.
Mm-hmm.
Like the original first one.
Oh, good, because that's the one that has like the stormtrooper hitting his head and stuff like that. Yeah.
Like I wanted to, but Mark and his sensibilities was like, don't get a VHS player. We don't need one. Because I so badly wanted to see, like you said, the original, like the like everything where they just messed everything
It just
up.
fixes it.
What?
He just goes and fixes everything.
Fix it. So I wanted to see things before he fixed it, like what I grew up on when I was a kid. So like I almost went out and I almost bought a VHS specifically so I could watch a bunch of the VHSs that I have. And yeah, I have all of these kinds of just like weird, I guess what would now be considered retro stuff, but it's literally just stuff that I've held on to from when I bought it when it was new.
I only just saw A New Hope, the new versions that he did probably earlier this year for the first time. And
really?
Yeah, it was horrible. It was like watching like some crazy Jurassic Park or something. And that Hans shot first thing. Oof. No, he did not.
No, it was Guido.
All right, let me say hi to the chat really quick, and then we'll get back to you.
Yeah, I haven't even turned that on.
Fantinuum says, exercising your right to freedom of speech is unacceptable. Well, I was cursing, and I know there's a lot of people, like, I do care about how other people perceive me, at least as far as being entertained. And I know there's some people out there that might listen to it at work, or, just out. Somebody walks in, you don't want to be embarrassed by what you're listening to or watching. And, sometimes, sometimes cursing needs to be there for sure. New Romuel and the stream looks great. Probably all go together. And I am at the comic book store right now, after hours. There you go. Better internet, not better camera, so I should actually get a better camera. And I
need to turn some lights on.
No, well, if you don't like, is it too light for you?
I
don't. The unspecial edition, exactly. The special editions are the unspecial editions.
It's true. It's true.
All right. So let me put this banner up. This is the rundown of what's so funny. I'm not seeing what you're seeing. Are you tripping balls or something like that? Is that what's going on? Did you drop acid before the show?
I got some. Never mind. I got some shrooms in my freezer.
Really?
No, yeah. No, he's just over there. I don't know what he is doing, but he just knocked over the recycling, and it's so loud. And then I just look over, and he just has this look on his face, like.
Snatch Face the Fool says, "Hey, Yule," and I love that. It's a good rhyme there. I like that. Thanks for joining us. We're going to talk comics in a little bit. Bruhan watched a movie. If she can stop laughing long enough, we'll be talking about that.
I actually got to watch I've gotten back to watching movies. I've watched like 5 this week at least.
5? All right, with the exception of the one we're going to talk about, what were the other 4?
Well, I made the mistake of last night. I watched Grave of the Fireflies. It's something like 1:00 in the morning while really high. And I don't know if you know about Grave of the Fireflies, but it's this late 80s Studio Ghibli about 2 World War II Japanese orphans trying to recover and take care of themselves after the war, and they're both dead. They just both die. And that's not a spoiler, because the first line is literally, I think it's like September 21st, 1945 is the day I died. And it's like this scene of this like 14-year-old kid in a train station with like flies crawling on him, and he's just hunched over, and then these maintenance workers are coming over, and it's like, oh, yep, this one's gone too. You can see it in his eyes. And then the next hour and a half is just this movie of this 14-year-old kid and his little, like, maybe 5-year-old sister bonding and trying to just make it through the trauma of the war and taking care of themselves. And they're not going to live, and they just make you fall in love with these kids the whole time because he's like a super sweet big brother, and she's just this adorable little kid that just wants her, like, fruit drop candy. And it's just this, for a Studio Ghibli movie, like those who brought us Ponyo, that movie was graphic, like really graphic. There were scenes where there were just mounds of bodies being burned because they didn't have enough places to actually bury people. There's one scene where you see an important character covered in maggots, and they're like supposed to go to the hospital, and they're like, they're not going to the hospital. No, that's not. So
this is animated?
What? Yeah.
This is animated?
Yeah.
How old is it?
1988.
Damn.
Yeah, it's one of the very
88? Mononoke was in the 90s, right?
Yeah, no, Studio Ghibli has been around since, in name, I think the mid to late 70s.
When was Totoro and all that stuff? Because Castle in the Wind's later on than that stuff, right?
It was like Studio Ghibli.
I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to remember.
No, you're not wrong. It's just Studio Ghibli,
right?
Was doing a lot of animation before they took over that name. So there's actually a lot of stuff. Like, did you know they did hella porn? They did some like straight up porn adaptations of things like
animated.
Yeah. Like Arabian Nights and Cleopatra. There's actually
classy porn, literature.
Yeah, there you go. Let's not say classy, but yeah,
classic. I meant.
Yes, there we go. So,
running of the bowls and all that stuff, or Congress of the Bowls, whatever. I don't remember.
Well, actually, I got a book here.
I'm sure you do.
That I can tell you, but we won't go there.
She has a tarot version of it too.
Yeah, actually, no, I do. Yeah,
it's a Kama Sutra tarot combo.
I have go check my Twitter. I just posted a bunch of like my books and like all of my stuff, not explicit stuff, but stuff.
Now you should be. You're a moderator in this chat.
Yeah.
So you can put links in the chat, just to let you know. So if you want to put your Instagram or other Instagrams or whatever.
Me too.
It will. Well, I'm just saying, I'm not going to do it. You do. Whatever. I mean. Use some common sense, but whatever. Yeah. I'm sure all of your stuff ultimately leads to something else.
Well, yeah.
All roads lead to OnlyFans. Everybody remembers that.
Did you see my Halloween costume? I did.
I saw a couple.
Yeah,
we talked about that
from Blade Runner, and then like I did this whole like Blade Runner photo shoot that like net shirt. Y'all can assume what happens.
But that's right. The all the exotic people in the dance. Like the snake one, right? You aren't the snake chick, right?
No, that's. Oh, I just spaced her name.
It's been a while. I haven't seen it in a while.
But I actually just finished reading that book too. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Took me a little bit to read it because I was taking like a bunch of notes on it. Because oh my god, that book has so much just like philosophy and commentary on just like so many things that weren't included in the movie. Like, I don't know if anybody cares, but two big differences between the movie and the book is the book has an empathy box, and then also Roy Batty is just like basically nothing. So like while I really, really loved the book, I feel like the movie expanded on and improved on a lot of the things and removed a couple of things that I find interesting that they had removed it because
Was it called Blade Runner? Is that
it's
what we're
Do
talking
Android
about?
Dream of Electric Sheep for the
That's
book,
right.
and then Blade Runner, which has 5 different cuts. Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
That's what
I
DVDs
have
were
this
made for.
box set, and like I've watched all but one of them, I think, and just watch the final cut. Like Ridley Scott really did know what he was doing. Like they shouldn't have made him go back and re-edit. Just watch the final cut.
What were those other movies that you watched? You watched 3 other movies.
Yeah, I watched both of the It movies because
Okay, 1 and 2.
I hadn't seen the second one. I saw the first one. I think we might have seen it in theaters, but we never got to the second one. So
I remember a lot of people were. I'm sorry. I remember a lot of people. Well, a lot of people are upset. There was like a little bit of an outrage to the second one.
yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I don't like there are a couple of things that they changed compared to the original miniseries and the book. Like
You mean like the group sex?
Well, we want to remove that. That's weird.
Well, it's weird, but I mean they were all consenting kids, right?
Kids being the key word.
Hey man, kids do some effed up stuff.
No, you know what? Like anybody who wants to know a really interesting book, go look up the memoirs of Josephine Mutzenbacher by Felix Saltzen. It's the same author that wrote the book that Bambi is based on. Not even going to tell you about it. Just go look it up to see what it is. So, yeah. So, watched those. I like both of the It movies, but just like I feel like the second one just got to be a little bit of a mess at the end. Like it was just long, and they were being chased around by the spider It for like 45 fucking minutes. So it just got to be a little like it wasn't bad. It wasn't. I liked it. And the creation that they did with the end monster of It was really cool. It just went on for too damn long. And then I just didn't really feel like a few of the castings were the best. Like, I don't know. Jessica Chastain is fine, but I feel like she just didn't really own that role that much. Maybe it's just I liked the young Beverly more. So when you put it between the kids portion of the of the movie and the adult portion, I liked the kids more than the adults. And then the adult movie was just like badly paced, and I just got bored with it. So while the story itself and how they pursued how things looked were really interesting, I just didn't care. So I could see why people wouldn't be the most excited about it, but it was fine.
Okay. Fantinium says the TV movie was better.
No, I think my biggest problem with this series of It is I feel like they relied a little too much on the CGI. So while it was really cool to see it do some stuff that we didn't see Tim Curry do, I feel like they just overblew it a little bit with the CGI, to whereas when we grew up with like Tim Curry the last 30 years, they like he had to just be a scary character. And while they did have like that end like special effects, like they had to focus more on the actual story and the acting of things. And I like both the original miniseries with Tim Curry and the Bill Skarsgård one, but yeah, I do still kind of like the original one better. It's cool to see the new one, but I don't know. Yeah, I still like the old one.
All right. So what else? So that's 3 movies. What was the 4th?
I watched, do you know Babylon 5?
I know of it.
I started watching that, and that begins with a pilot movie. There's some interesting characters on that show, and I actually just either last night or earlier today, I don't know what sleep is anymore. So sometime in the last 24 hours, finished the first season, and I think now I can watch the second movie. But that
Those are long seasons.
yeah, it was something like 20, 21, 22 episodes at 45-minute filled an
Yeah.
hour long episode. So yeah, like I think I've gotten used to all of these like 8 to 12 episode series now, because like it feels like I've been watching this show for so long, and I only just finished the first season in the first movie. But it's really fun. As long as you don't mind the animation graphics of like the space stuff and all of that being atrocious, like so bad it's charming. It's so bad. It's like,
Do you know the thing about that program?
what about it?
It was already it was understood that it was going to be a 5-season series.
Oh, and that's what it made.
Yeah, it did. All the
So,
way
yeah,
through.
'cause, like, what do you know about this? Because if anybody else is not aware, this was created by J. Michael Straczynski, so it actually has, some pretty good like writing teams and stuff on it. But I haven't actually looked into it. What do you know? How was it planned like that? Because
I just think that's how he shopped it around. It wasn't on a regular network. I think it was like UPN at the time or something like that. And it was already under. I mean, I think it might have got understood or out there in the public that it was a 5-season series, like after it had started. But I could be wrong. As people were kind of liking it, and Starlog, those kind of magazines talking about this stuff, comic book type stuff, and he had it was pretty popular, I guess. I mean, to me, I didn't like it. I didn't care.
no.
My father liked it. Pops liked it. And I knew people that enjoyed it quite a bit. But Star Trek at that time kind of sucked for me. And so did Babylon
You're not the
5.
biggest on like spacey stuff, space opera, space drama, like unless it has like your more superhero kind of element. I've never really known you to be terribly fond of that realm of stuff.
It depends on what we're talking about.
Because like you give me something in space, I will already be all over it. But like you said, you seem to need your like Green Lantern or something.
I guess so. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. There's definitely science. I mean, I like science fiction. It's just not my favorite, entertainment, I guess. I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty that I liked. But fantasy, superhero type stuff, I could watch. The thing is I can't really watch movies right now in my life. I just don't care enough. I don't want to invest all the time to watch it. And it feels like they just get longer and longer anyway.
They have. See, and that's my problem with shows too, is like at least a movie, the most you're gonna sit there for is like 4 freaking hours. But like with some of these shows now, like he's watching Lovecraft County, and that's only like, what did you say, 8 episodes? He's wearing headphones. He can't.
I appreciate these 8 and 10 episode seasons now,
and they're good episodes too. Like they're really like well written, action packed. Like the time is well filled with story. Like you don't really get many filler episodes anymore.
I agree. I mean, the thing is that sometimes those filler episodes or those non-continuity episodes of things are actually some of the things. It's like a B-side to an album. sometimes, or not the single, or what you expect to be the hit. And it's those things that really make you like whatever you're listening to or watching. Maybe it's just something that stands alone, and it's just, something I'm thinking about. Anyway, Corey here says that she watched Babylon 5, season 1, 2, and 3, and did not watch the last two.
No,
well,
tell us in chat, why didn't you? Why didn't you watch?
Well, she moved, so probably ATN didn't force her to watch them like he was.
Well, but
that's my guess.
Just watch them. Just watch them.
They're out there. Just watch them.
Yeah.
It's also like, so it was planned out to be a 5-season series, so that would mean that things in the 4th and 5th episode or season might actually relate to things prior.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good. I mean, who doesn't want that in their science fiction, especially?
Right.
All right. Lovecraft Country.
Okay.
But I don't like binging also. That's my other thing. Like, if I'm not reading, like, everybody does this. I have comic books stacked up. I mean, anybody that reads comic books. I have comic books stacked up, and I haven't read them all. And there's a pile next to my bed, and maybe a pile in my office. And let's not talk about all the piles of comics I have. One shifting into a box, out of a box, into another something, into a box. It's horrible. It's the worst. I got to burn them all.
Right. Well, I mean, at least if your power ever goes out in the apocalypse, you have plenty of Kindle.
That's right. But it's just, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but comic books. All right, cool. So, say what?
I like those things.
Yeah, they're good. They're all over the place.
Right.
Only because she moved to LA. That's why.
Only.
Yeah.
Should finish it.
Finish it because
talk about it. Let's have a B5 episode.
Oh, we could totally do that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, something that you don't.
A pile in his bathroom. No, I don't do that. All piles leave.
Ugh. Yeah. No, paper does not go in the bathroom.
No, not at all.
No.
I have a little wire rack in the bathroom down here with 2 comics that no one will want to read.
Exactly. It's the plume. The plume is all over. Don't ask.
Yeah.
Don't ask.
Well, we already did the separate the art from the artist situation. So, what are you gonna do?
Oh no. Which character?
Don't worry about it. Just watch the program.
Yeah. Because there are a few characters, I love the character Londo so much. I was watching it, and then I fell asleep, and then when I was waking up, I just woke up to Londo singing the Hokey Pokey, and I'm just like, anybody who is familiar with this show, Londo is this character who speaks with this accent that is supposed to be a cross between, I think it was Croatian and Irish or some crap like that, but his hair is just it sticks up in a big peacocky fan, and he has little fangs, and he's just this really weird hedonistic guy, and he's just singing the Hokey Pokey
in Babylon 5.
I woke up and I'm just I don't know.
Oh, this is your dream.
No, that happened. I went back and I watched the episode again, and I still don't know what's happening and why he's singing the Hokey Pokey.
All right, excellent. Oh man, Jill was watching a Next Generation episode, and Picard wasn't in it, and Data and Geordi were in the holodeck room. I hate those episodes. And they were doing the Sherlock Holmes bit. I'm like, that's Picard's thing. Well, I mean,
I guess
Data. And then the next one's him trying to learn humor. I hate Data episodes. I just do not like Next Generation. I'm sorry.
See, and I haven't sat down to, I've watched little clips and bits around of it, but the only Trek that I've actually watched is the original. So that's why I was actually trying to watch this Babylon 5, because I finally want to get to these other, the masses of other Star Treks and, Stargate, and then Babylon 5. And
Stargate, don't ever do that. It's way too many.
So, I'm just sick of people telling me to watch it, so I have
Really?
to eventually.
People are telling you to watch Stargate? Really?
So many people for like 10 years. Like,
Really?
I don't know anybody who isn't a nerd. Of course, people, and like I'm into space, so of course people are going to tell me that.
Holy cow. Hey, let me ask you, Mr. Taylor here says, watch Bone Tomahawk. It's a great Western horror film with Kurt Russell.
Ooh.
I don't know anything about that.
Ew, okay, yeah, I'm on Letterboxd right now.
But I like his taste. Oh, Streffen, what Tower Records did you work at, and when was that? I'm curious.
Bone Tomahawk.
Unless that's like, unless there's legal matters, I don't want you to get in trouble for that.
Yeah, no, don't dox yourself if you don't want.
Yeah, well, the reason why I ask is because Jill at one time worked at Tower in Berkeley and Dublin, or Dublin then Berkeley, and it was a shit show.
A couple of people to work at Tower, and it's like they either really, really love it, or they're like, that was the worst job of my life. Like, I don't know what the dissonance between that is.
All right, here we go. Fantanium says, I am a blasphemer for the Next Generation bit. And I understand. And I'm really not sorry when I say I'm sorry. Stargate SG-1 is awesome. And he went to the convention also.
Nice.
And he got autographs. And he watches Stargate Atlantis.
See, then like,
wait.
Like, for as much as I'm into space stuff, I don't know why OG Star Trek and like Star Wars is the only stuff that I've really gotten to that much. So yeah, I'm trying to get to some of these other. I did start watching Star Trek Lower Decks though. Do you know what that is?
That's the cartoon that's making fun of Star Trek?
See, that's the thing. It's not making fun of Star Trek. It's officially licensed canon Star Trek. And
I hear you.
It's like they're like bleeping curse words, and there's like zombies at some point, and then it's just like I don't know what is going on in that show, but it is made for like Adult Swim, and it is so dirty and raunchy. Like it should be playing next to like the Harley Quinn show, but yet it's actual Star Trek. It's licensed, official, canon Star Trek. And I don't know, like, the whole show, what it is it has Coke vibe. It's just like everybody on that show is just like coked out so hard that I don't know how it's official Star Trek, because it is so different than any other Trek, anything that I've ever seen. But yet somehow it's some of the most like Trekkie Trek stuff I've seen. And like Paul, as you know, our Paul, he says the same thing. It's like it's the most off the wall of all Star Trek, but it's got the most like canon kind of material to it, because since it is animated, they can play with it a little more and they can pack more canon in there. Since they don't actually, like have to have people to do it, they can just draw it in and then voiceover. So it's just so. TV is getting weird these days, and I like it.
Well, it's not even really TV, right? It's their streaming service, right?
I have no idea, to be honest. He just puts it on, and then I like get sucked into an episode, and I'm like, what is happening?
All right, so I do know that there was at least one of those that was available for free on YouTube. So it's called Star Trek what? Corridors?
Lower Decks.
Lower Decks. Okay,
yeah.
Very good. I worked at Laval's that was downstairs from Tower Records. I want everybody to know. Yeah. Laval's.
Bone Tomahawk. Found it.
Bone Tomahawk.
It's like Western horror. You called it. I'm gonna go see if I can find that.
Western horror.
Hell
okay.
Yeah.
I don't do westerns or horror really anymore.
And I love both of those. Like, horror is my thing, but like I love westerns.
Really?
So much.
I did not know that.
Oh, all right. Oh, I grew up. One of my first heroes was Annie Oakley. Are you kidding
Did you read by any chance Pretty Deadly?
No, but
Do you have Pretty Deadly?
I want to say I do, but I think it might have been one that I also got rid of when I got rid of a bunch of fiction.
Mm-hmm.
But I still have those in a bag in my closet, not in my shelf. So I'm still trying to figure it out. Though I do know somebody who has read it.
That's right. Well, it's supposed to be. I mean, I don't know. It's supposed to be pretty good, from what I understand, but it's just not my cup of tea. Ultimately, Western horror.
See, I want to get into it more because it's such an interesting concept for me since it isn't something that you particularly see very often. But, like I spent 13 years in southern Arizona, so you put like southwestern, southern elements in anything, and I'm automatically just going to be kind of drawn to it just because of the like familiarity of it. And then you throw horror into it too, like hell yeah, I'm gonna be all over that. It's like, oh, did you? Yeah, I was about to ask. I already know the question. Rhetorical question. You didn't happen to see the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, did you? No. Oh, okay. You got to watch that one at least.
Really?
It's so like okay. It's something like 6 to 8 segments. Not all of them are great. There were like 2 segments that I was like, okay, this is just weird.
Wait, is this a program?
It is a movie, but it's an anthology movie.
Okay.
And it's all just like Western, Southwestern kind of stuff. Like think Gold Rush and just like saloon type things and like Western. Just like everything Western.
Oh, gotcha.
And it's got a lot of musical element to it. It's really good. Like I want to say there were at least like 4 or 5 actors in it that you would for sure know, although I'm completely spacing all of them right now, but it's got a pretty like damn good cast to it. And it just has a really, really nice homage to all of the different styles that Western as a genre has, because it's got like an adventure story, it's got like a survival story, it's got a love story, and they're good. Like it's definitely worth watching. I would just like sit there, watch it. I believe it's still on Netflix, but if you're not digging a segment, just go do something else for like 10-15 minutes. They're not that long, but like some of the segments on it are just like so damn good. And if you're into westerns at all, make sure you watch it.
All right, since we're talking about movies,
Oh yeah.
let's do this. Let's talk about New Mutants, the movie.
So that finally happened.
How'd you watch it? How can a person watch it?
Illegally.
Or how about legally? There's a way to watch it legally, right?
Yeah, probably, honey.
Oh, don't worry about it.
No.
Don't
Yeah,
bargain.
I don't freaking know. Like Fox, where does Fox stream? Maybe I can actually look this up. But yeah, no,
I sprung that question on you. I didn't mean to do that. That wasn't my
it's gonna
intention.
bug me. But no, I actually liked it. I'm not entirely sure why it wasn't very well received. Okay, so it does have a very, very young adult feel to it. So while it was marketed as like, ooh, woo, horror, finally a mutant horror, superhero horror, it is definitely a horror movie. But one of the things in the development process that happened was it was originally written to be much, much more young adulty, but then the first It movie, reference to earlier talk, the first It movie came out, and then that one actually like did really well. So when they screened the first cut of this, they wanted to focus more on the actual horror aspect over the young adult aspect to it. So that caused all sorts of rewrites and reshoots. So before anything, I will say it feels very young adulty. It does feel like it should have been like a Netflix produced, Netflix released basic movie. It didn't exactly feel like something that would have made all that much money in theater, but it's a good, solid movie, and I liked it a lot. I didn't find anything particularly wrong with it. It wasn't like badly paced, it wasn't badly written. It was interesting. I liked the characters. So I'm not entirely sure why it isn't like more popular right now and why the reception of it has been not exactly great.
Well, it was supposed to come out like 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think is the freaking development hell that it went through. It was released and I completely missed that it was released. Just all of a sudden it was out.
It was during the COVID it came out, right?
Yeah, but it was supposed to come out firstly back in 2018, but through a bunch of other stuff, it got like 3 or 4 different release dates this year that kept getting pushed back.
Mm-hmm.
So a big thing of what I think probably happened was people just got sick of trying to keep track of it and listen to when it was supposed to come out. So when it finally did, people had put it so already on the back burner of their mind that when it came out, just like nobody knew, because like there was no actual like release, like there was no big announcement since it was pushed back so many times. Just suddenly it was on streaming.
Yeah, it came out in August, so it
Yeah.
wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, and I still don't know like anybody else who has seen it. And as recently as a few days ago when I posted it, I saw a bunch of different people between all of my various social medias that were like, wait, I forgot that came out. Where are you watching that? So this movie that we've been waiting several years for, like we just as a collective group of people waiting for it just got so exhausted waiting for it that we kind of missed when it finally came out, because there are all of these people that for the last 2 years, like I've been talking with them like, God, when is this movie gonna freaking come out already? Now that it's out, they're like, oh, that's out? Okay, whatever. And it's just like it got to be so exhausting waiting for this damn movie that here, let me, and I think it's streaming on Prime.
There's something.
It is streaming on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, there's outlets for you to get it that way.
Yeah.
So I gotta say,
legally you can go get it.
I'm ready for watching. If I'm gonna watch a movie and watching it at home first, come on. Movie theaters are. The experience was long dead a long time ago.
It was long dead when a small popcorn was $10.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you have televisions that are not movie screens, obviously, but you got the sound and your headphones, if you're that kind of person, there's no reason to go out anymore, COVID.
You know, funny enough, like, I have, like, my husband has this really nice, huge, like, best visual graphics computer screen, and we have this massive big screen TV. You know what I still like watching things on the most? This right here, my computer. Yeah. Just right here in front of me, like you said, in my headphones. It's the closeness, the intimacy, I have it right here. Like, sure, the movie theater with the big and the loud and the experience, like, it's nice if you, I guess, like, have a group of people that you're excited to go out and actually spend time with. But if I want to see a movie, I don't particularly find myself wanting to go to theaters by myself much right now.
Yeah. I mean, there's people that want to go out and are still into the movie going experience, but I think there was a downs there it was not doing it feels like comic books. I mean, it all just kind of equates with the stupid pop culture stuff that I surround myself with, but even the movies seemed that they weren't really making a lot of money unless it was one of those Marvel Disney movies.
Right.
You know, one of those big old things, because what you're seeing is one thing do really well and then all the other stuff not do so well. And we're already seeing for a long time with movies doing sequels and remakes and sequels and parodies and remakes and on and on and on. They don't want to spend their time and energy to put anything really new out there because they don't want to take the chance. But then you see someone do it, someone that isn't big, and then they make a ton of money. What was that?
I've seen that.
What?
Like, tell you right now that who is it? AMC?
Yes.
I think it's AMC that they are renting out entire theaters. Like, you can rent it for a movie for $150 freaking dollars. So it's like, hey, yeah, you and like all of our like little friends, we want to go get a few beers and then go watch Jurassic Park on the big screen together in a closed theater alone, away from these freaking Joker people. We can do that for $150.
All right, so if you all want to do it with Fantastic Comics, let's get something together and we'll do it.
But what are we gonna watch? What's like the best? Let's watch.
Does it have to be a new movie?
No. Well, obviously it's got to be a comic something. So
Does it?
So let's try either. I say Bloodshot. That movie.
Let's wait. Well, let's wait on this one. Let's think about this for a little while. I'm not doing a Bloodshot or Vin Diesel
movies.
Well, I mean, if we're going for a truly horrible movie, it's got to be one of those Batman movies.
Ooh.
Yes, I should do it for my Patreon supporters. So anybody that is a part of Patreon, you don't have to worry. Fantinuum isn't.
That actually would be kind of cool.
Yeah, we could do something like that. The Patreon people are scattered. I don't know if that's like something that can actually happen. I think it has to be more of a store thing, locally. Quarantining and all that stuff. If you're flying and just to see a movie with us, I mean, give me a break. They're already helping me out. They don't want to spend more money just to hang out.
Oh my god.
But you are a real person. I do agree. All right. So anyway, back to this movie review.
Okay, yeah. So
wait, hold on. Zoom. Oh yeah, there's a way to watch movies together.
Zoom.
There's Discord and all that stuff.
I see what you're saying.
We can invite we can invite a few people into a stream like this without the streaming. And then we can do something. Like I can share a page. But it's only a few people. So. I hate long form stuff. Let's just watch some Seinfelds, okay? I'll watch my favorite Seinfelds.
As long as we can watch the Soup Nazi episode.
Oh, yeah. It's a classic.
Oh, God.
Jambalaya. Jambalaya. Oh, and definitely. Wow.
And we're staring at a pan, and I'm getting munchy.
Wait, hold on a second. I got one for us right here.
Everybody knows. I stopped short.
That's a favorite of mine. I stopped short. The Ass Man episode.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's very good. All right, so back to this New Mutants review.
Okay. So,
it's horror, right?
It is. And, it is legit horror. It's not just, like, marketed as it. It's a pretty damn good little horror movie.
How much superhero powers are in this movie?
A lot. I would say it's very much definitely a mutant movie. You do get to see, like, they're in the asylum, so they're like, just like the school, like Xavier's school, they're not supposed to use their powers, but of course they do. So
They're in an asylum?
yeah, I was actually, when I was reading about it, there were legit inspirations pulled from Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. So
Yeah.
it is, and that actually is one of the things that they were going to rewrite, but then they apparently like didn't rewrite and they had to reshoot, was the asylum is supposed to be the same asylum from Logan where X-23 was experimented on. So, like, this one was supposed to be hugely tied into... Ooh, Great British Bake. Stop talking about food. I can't eat right, and you're gonna make me leave you all alone.
That's okay. I've been left alone by you all now. I'm perfect. I can't review the movie though. So you're screwing me there.
Okay, well, let's just go over a little bit as to why it took so damn long to actually get out before I get to the movie itself.
Was it Fox? It was the merger or the buying of it, right?
There were a good number of different, very, very clearly different road bumps that kept this movie from coming out for so long. And the sad thing is the guy who directed it, originally wrote it, and created the movie, created it by taking one of the Claremont comics and actually taking the panels from it and creating a story off of that. And then he sent that original story idea to Bill Sienkiewicz, who thought he thought it was great. Like, he thought he wasn't just writing another New Mutant movie, something like he actually had the series and the kids and the team figure it out. So all the way back to it was originally 2014 is when he started the idea in the writing for it, and everybody was on board. Like, the first incarnation of it was approved by the director, the producers, Fox, Bill Sienkiewicz, freaking everybody. But then, let's see. Yes. Then things like Apocalypse happened, X-Men Apocalypse.
You mean the failure of X-Men Apocalypse?
Failure. And since New Mutants was supposed to tie so many like mutant films together, they had to go through and change a bunch of different stuff, because when Apocalypse failed, there was supposed to be this whole scene where at the end, like, the Essex Corporation is the kind of like main antagonist. It's the it's the asylum that they're all in. And one of the original post-credit scenes was supposed to be revealing John Hamm as Mr. Sinister, but then a bunch of different stuff happened to where, like, Apocalypse failed, so they had to rewrite a bunch of those scenes since that didn't work out. And then that's when they introduced Antonio Banderas as, like, Emmanuel DaCosta's father, and it had all of these different rewrites and reshoots between...
Wait, it was a Bobby DaCosta?
Emmanuel DaCosta was his father.
Was the father, I got you. Okay, cool. So the kid was Bobby.
Yeah.
I heard he was pretty light-skinned. Is that true?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are kind of bitchy about the fact that, because he's been lightened up depending on what iteration
in the comic, he's Afro-Brazilian, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at least originally he was, but you know how things are.
Yeah. That was yet again another one of the problems with the production was casting. They had a bunch of ideas in casting, and they had some of the people casted, but then when it came to Mirage and him, they wanted to make sure that they got like ethnically appropriate actors. So they took a good bit of extra time trying to actually fulfill those kinds of roles. And while the comic character is Afro-Brazilian, the character that we get, the actor, is Brazilian. So the director,
I need someone that can act.
yeah, the director was
Come
saying
on.
like, he saw something like hundreds of people try out for the role, and they took a lot of time in casting ethnically appropriate people between all of our Native American and the Brazilian character, even down to Ilyana and what's
I think there needs to be I don't know. Sometimes I think we get a little too overboard on some of this. It's not as bad as Mickey Rooney playing a Japanese guy anymore. It's just, I mean, we can be sensitive, but sometimes we're overly sensitive, I feel. I don't know how you feel about that. I mean,
I think it's one of those things that there is no win. We'll take this one for example. Afro-Brazilian character representation. How many Afro-Brazilian actors do you know out there? The question from there is, okay, but do you need a known name? You can go and you can seek out a less known or new person who is Afro-Brazilian and place them into the role. But then studios want people who can actually act. So
Right.
there's a very fine line between the desire,
unless they're a star, then they don't care about the acting.
pretty much. It's did you hear Johnny Depp got fired from Fantastic Beasts?
He did more than he got fired. His case in court was they did not accept his his version.
Ooh, they didn't. I didn't hear that.
I mean, there was some sordid stuff, I guess, that it sounds like
the bed pooping. I was,
dude, that's the one. Yeah,
I was so out. I'm just you know what?
There's this episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia where there's poop in the bed. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
It's always Frank.
Yeah.
Every single one. It was every single one.
Dude, I'm serious. That's a pretty funny episode, and I'm like, this is what Johnny Depp and Amber Heard are basically.
Exactly
Someone
what
pooped the
me and
bed.
Mark were thinking.
It's like, is anybody a saint in this situation? Probably not.
Well, even if you take Amber Heard, we're not going to go totally off the rails on this one because I have this concisely figured out because it gets to me. Amber Heard by herself, already don't like her. She's a liar. She's gross. I don't believe anything she says. I'm not saying that automatically makes me side with Johnny Depp, because then you have to think about back with his Winona Ryder days when
she was a klepto.
Okay.
All right. So how about this? It's everybody he hangs around is a nut, including him.
Yeah, it just seems like his whole little clickage is just kind of a little, maybe not all there. So
crazy in the head.
Pretty much.
There's something else to that. I don't remember.
They have their money. They can do their own thing. They can poop in their freaking beds and get divorced about it. And you know what? I'm just going to sit here and read my comics and watch my movies.
Yeah. Rip from today's headlines.
Right.
So back to New Mutants.
So yeah,
I'm sorry. Winona was a klepto after dating Johnny Depp. Well, there you go.
Oh God.
I didn't know it was gonna get so heated in the chat when we talked about. There's a lot of Johnny Depp fans out there. I understand.
Well, actually, my cousin is best friends with one of his exes. So yeah,
Really?
even
Hey, I'm 21 Jump Street for life, not that movie crap, you know.
nice. You know, hey, the remakes, those were not.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
They were cute.
Maybe that's the movie we'll be watching.
Oh, you mean roasting? I'm not calling them good. I'm calling them cute.
Hell. So back to this craptacular rollout for this movie.
Yeah, like freaking, like 6 years of back and forth rewrites, recasts between.
It was going to be rated R, right? I thought it was.
I don't remember if it was going to be, but it's not. Right. And I do think it was kind of held back by that a little bit. Although at the same time, it is young adult. And I'm not exactly a young adult anymore.
Like Goosebumps? So
it's definitely higher than Goosebumps.
Okay.
Like
I've never read a Goosebumps.
You know, it's more, think of something like the Sabrina show that they came out with, the satanic one. It's very, very much in the same vein as that kind of stuff. So it's not bad. It's good. It's a good, solid movie. It's a good horror. It is just definitely young adult. It is PG-13. It's not the scariest. It's not the goriest. It's not,
Is it a mind F or anything?
It's definitely more what it is, because anybody familiar with the comics, without trying to spoil things, the big basis around what the horror is in the asylum has to do with the demon bear. So
all right, hold on a second. Okay.
Yeah.
So the demon bear in the comic books was an entity that basically killed, or we thought what killed, Danny Moonstar's parents. Is there a Danny Moonstar in this book?
Yes.
And where is she, Marat?
That is the main character that we focus on.
Right. Is she Native American, or at least really also?
I do believe so, yeah.
I mean, that's probably a small pool of people to choose from also.
You know, there's a lot of Native American actors. Yeah, no, there's
yeah, but you know what I mean.
Movies that I do know what you mean.
I mean,
and that's
I'm not like with a
tinge
of something else, you know.
Hang on, I'm gonna mute here.
I mean, I don't know though. That's just what I had come to understand. But I mean, I'm not running in Hollywood circles or anything like that.
Yeah. But no, well, at the same time too, because then you also have to think about age category, since this is a young adult. So like,
exactly,
there's a lot of factors that you have to consider, and that doesn't even take into account the person who is trying to cast and the producers who are arguing with them about it. So while somebody could want to do something better with the casting, the producers could be saying, no, we need something else. So that's what, it's just one of those things that I'm like, you can't.
That person costs too much. Another an ensemble cast like this. I mean, so Danny Moonstar is the main character, but the name in this movie is the young woman who played Arya in Game of Thrones, right? Macy Williams.
Maisie Williams. Wolfsbane. No, we do have Danny Moonstar, and we have Wolfsbane.
Oh, she plays Wolfsbane?
Yeah. And
they do.
We got it. We got it in a mutant universe. They are explicitly lesbian.
Wait, who's lesbian?
Rain and Danny.
Oh, come on.
No, they did it.
Give me a break.
They did it. They did
Rain?
it. Well,
she won't even have. Wait, who?
You just keep talking for a second. My dog is flipping.
Oh, it's okay.
out.
Rain should not. She's like the Scottish girl, like, teenager that is super Catholic and scared about doing anything with anybody and is always bashful around boys and whatnot.
Yep.
There was a character who later on we find out is gay or a lesbian in Sean McCoy. She's the Vietnamese girl at the time. And I think she loses her leg. She has a robot leg now. It's pretty sweet. Danny, she's doing the whole, she's got the whole Valkyrie Asgardian thing, so I guess maybe I can see that, but I thought her and like Sam were always almost an item and stuff like that, and it kind of, movie doesn't equate comic book, but there's just other characters I think that they already had if they wanted to do that. Scott's way overrepresented in Mutant Dom.
I'm pretty sure that's a pun.
I don't even know if she is. I don't remember.
She is.
She's Scottish, right?
Yeah.
Do you say Scottish?
Scottish, and she does have like a Scottish accent in the movie. She is supposed to be from Scotland, and
That's
she
cute.
is super Catholic.
Joe wants to know, is there PG-13 lesbian sex?
If you mean
Do they
fully
kiss?
clothed kisses on the grass under the moonlight.
Oh my gosh, do they? Wait, is she a wolf when that happens?
Well,
Does she turn into a wolf during? Does Danny have to like tame the savage beast?
a little bit. We do actually. Yeah, she gets her like eyes all wolfy turned, and she's oh no, don't look at them. And Danny's like, no, I like them. They're pretty. Shit, you're not actually. See, so what I mean.
All right, awesome.
Is very young adulty, but it's cute.
Is that what that means when you have like coming out characters? It means it's young adult. It always seems like this is a sexual exploration of blah 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 blah. I'm like, oh, it's a young adult story.
Well, it's just like I have like such a preoccupation with what young adult is supposed to be, because like for me, one of my favorite book series is the Dollengang. Fucking what the?
It's probably my nose, I think.
Okay, I was gonna say it sounded like a cat. I'm not a cat. Is the Dollenganger series the Flowers in the Attic books?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. See, and those
Did they do that movie? I think I saw the first movie.
So bad. So ridiculously horribly bad. It's an atrocity. It shouldn't exist.
Wait a second. There's like twincest type stuff going on, or
that's
something?
what I was gonna say. Like the definition of young adult is supposed to be based on like the age group of the protagonist, and I'm just kind of like, these 14-year-olds. This is not a young adult book. I can tell you. Oh my
God, I'm telling you. Kids do effed up stuff. That's what I'm saying. That's the theme of the show, obviously.
See, no, and that's why it's one of my favorite book series, is because it does actually address that in a way that's like, oh, wow. Oh, there's some serious trauma going on.
And that's why I'm like kind of upset, because when I was a kid growing up and reading comic books, I wanted to read what the big kids were reading, or maybe what my dad was reading. Now a lot of the comic books are playing to that age group, and there's nothing like higher for, I don't know. There's good young adult comic books, but that doesn't mean every single one of them has to be. Yeah. We have to reach a little bit farther for the kid that doesn't want to just be stuck with everybody else.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of comic books are like that, even the supposed more mature ones.
Right. Well, because theoretically that's why we're supposed to have like the Black series and like the Max label and like all that.
Black Label and Max, yes. At least in Marvel and DC, but then, Showa Wang.
Yeah,
and it's
everything
like, oh, no.
God,
You can't show a penis. Batman doesn't have a penis. I mean.
Oh, he has a shadow where we can almost see one.
No, it's out. Don't you worry about that.
Wait, was it out? Like,
it was.
It was? Like, full on?
Enough. I assume. I don't. Jill, she always like points out people's crotches when we're watching wrestling. Men's crotches, I mean. She also will do that, like if there's like some weird, underwear hangout situation or a bad outfit that a woman is wearing. She'll point those out also, but she's like, "Don't you see that? Don't you see that?" I'm like, "No, I don't see that area." It's just something about it. I just don't see it.
Up for me to really start paying attention to things.
Yeah, man. If you want to talk about some dude's abs, yeah, I mean, I'm there with you. But if you're, no, I'm not paying attention.
I was gonna say I got some abs.
Oh yeah. Well, for those of you that don't know, Bruja, she lifts weights. You haven't lifted weights in a while now, right?
Yeah, no, not on quarantine. I feel so damn squishy, and I hate it.
Yeah.
But I can still like.
You gotta get back to a. Gotta get back to a gym.
I know, and my husband works at one right across the street.
Oh my gosh. You can't go after hours?
See, that's the thing. There are specified hours at which I can and cannot go based on their most.
I don't know if Bruja
to go is too late for me. So
Wait,
it's
say
just
that
me
again?
being prissy about
I think
it.
you stalled on me.
It's just me being prissy about it.
Okay.
What, you just want to hear me say prissy again?
No, I think you you stalled out. But yeah, someone did.
I saw that down there, which for me, what are you making?
I'm sure it's more of, it's going to be
more disgusting slop.
Well, it'll probably ultimately look like slop, but I mean, it'll be a nice little ensemble of things that we put together. It usually looks somewhat appetizing in the end. Just, you don't want to see all the I mean, look at this guy. What's his name today? Let's see. Let me take that off.
What is
Scooby-Doo 2.
Get that close. Why are you doing this to me?
Kombuchulu.
Oh God, that's ooh.
Kombuchulu.
Kombucha.
Kombuchulu. Kuchalu. Kombuchalu. Kombuchalu.
So you got your little piece of mushroom mold in there.
I want to go back to New Mutants really quick.
All
right, so Danny Moonstar, does she have parents that have been kidnapped by the demon bear?
They have been killed at the beginning.
Killed.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. And then the New Mutants, Sam Guthrie's there. He's Cannonball. Yeah,
we get I don't think they actually say any of their mutant.
Yeah, that's fine.
So you are, unless you are familiar with the powers and the characters, you might be a little lost as to who is which. But
that's fine.
Yeah, no, we have Sunspot, I believe. We have Rain. We have Ilyana.
With the sword.
We do get to see.
Does she go to limbo?
A little bit.
All right, that's cool.
All right. No, I don't want to I want to answer your curiosities, but I will spoil the crap out.
All right, so in Limbo, she has this servant, this big pink, big brawny dude named Sim, I think.
We do not get that.
Okay, that's cool.
We do get her little puppet dragon. I forget his name.
Wait, Lockheed's there?
Yes. Yeah.
Lockheed hangs out with Ilyana later on, but that's Kitty Pryde's dragon.
Lockheed, am I remembering Lockheed actually belonging to somebody else?
It's Kitty Pryde, but Kitty Pryde. See, if I'm not 100% down with Kitty Pryde being gay, but that would just be because like I had a crush on her
Wait,
when I was a
where
kid.
gay?
No, if she and Ilyana, everybody ships those
Okay.
two characters, and for sure they have like this this connection. So like if you were gonna put New Mutants characters or at least younger mutant characters together, I see them a lot more than I see Rain and Danny. Actually, that's all I'm saying. I'm going back to that.
Yeah, you're like, wait, but she's Catholic.
Yeah, well, it's not that, and I'm not saying that you can't be that way either. I'm just saying she is so strict that I don't think she would allow herself, especially so early on in life,
See, that's
that possibility.
That's
is what
addressed.
what was that?
That's addressed.
Oh, is it? Well, she is so withdrawn when we first meet her in these early years of her character in the comic book that to just go all over the place. I mean, you can explore nothing for like the longest time, and they're like, just I got to blow my wad in a movie is what it feels like, just a bit. And there's more for later, or there isn't, and we're really worried about that. And we're just going to put everything we can so that, it connects with as many people as possible. I don't know. Maybe
it's like
that's how movies feel.
This was also supposed to be, I think, the first of a new trilogy that was, again, going to tie into the other series. So, yeah, having so much introduced so quickly, I think it was probably one of those things in rewrites that when they realized things like Apocalypse went down the hole, like it does feel like they kind of wrote more into the story, thinking they weren't going to be able to do the trilogy that they had originally planned after finding that Apocalypse just flopped. Because I'm still not sure, especially after this New Mutants development hell, if this is going to be the first of a trilogy.
No way.
No.
They might. I could see this being more like a television type thing for Disney Plus or something like that.
That's what I mean. Like, it very much felt like a Netflix produced and released movie. So while I liked it, I don't really feel like it's going to be the beginning of a new era of X-Men like they were kind of wanting, which makes me sad because I liked it.
They can do it with any of their like titles and just put whatever characters they want together anytime they want.
How many mutants we have?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of opportunity depending on what the story is. I think just call something like Academy X and just have like a running high school forever, and you don't have to like blow your wad. Just have like figure out who your senior, junior, sophomore, freshman class are, and then start rotating them out, and just figure out how you want to work it, and you don't have to worry about like super long 10-part episode stories. They could be like just little chunks focusing on characters, and if you want to, you can make them, you can have a very special college or high school episode of Academy X or whatever it is, this mutant's doing sleeping pills, taking Quaaludes or whatever.
And Battle Buddy, I cannot very much comment because
I was wondering about that.
I don't.
You never read the comic that much?
Not enough with him to really like know much of his.
He's this like rich, pompous kid who plays soccer and thinks he's king shit of everything.
Yes.
That's how I perceive Bobby DaCosta.
Yeah, he is. Because in the asylum, he is supposed to be like the rich boy, and he plays it like, oh, I'll just have my parents pay for it later. So
right, there you go.
What is he doing with the
and also, well, if you don't have sugar, it's a very good. Anyway,
this isn't vodka.
This Sunspot and Cannonball, Now, if any dudes were gonna hook up from that group, everybody, that's another shipping thing, and they have a really good relationship.
I can see
Do
that.
do they have a good relationship in this by any chance? Like, do they?
Well, the
They
thing
don't have enough time.
that's not enough time. Like the intro is they're all thrown into this support group together where they're trying to deal with their emerging powers. Some of them don't even know what their powers are yet, and they're basically just trying to get these kids to communicate and talk. So yeah, no, Strange Academy should be animated. So yeah, there's not really a whole lot of like interpersonal character development before we start to actually just go through like the horror part, like the demon bear horror part of just like the psychological trauma. The most like character bonding we get is for sure between freaking Rain and Danny. Thanks, Joe. You know, I believe that too. Like, look at the shape. That was obviously washed in the bottom of a pocket.
Possibly. I don't remember. I don't remember. Fox ultimately was like this jerk who may have been like, funding some bad corporation or something like that. I can't remember how it went, but I didn't read New Mutants after a long while.
Yeah, that's one of the things about like all of these rewrites that I really wonder what
I don't know about the movie.
Rewrites had to go through with the just like the failure of Apocalypse, because that was one of the things they were going to do was make the Essex Corporation the ultimate big bad, and they were going to do more with it. But then Apocalypse failed, so they adjusted it more to the Demon Bear. But then, yeah.
Well, I don't want to like get on a whole thing, but Fox, I mean, just like I said, nobody's really making money in movies unless you're Disney.
Yeah. And then, like, when that was another one of the steps that kept this movie from coming out was the Fox acquisition by Disney, because by the time Disney bought Fox, New Mutants was like basically already written. A bunch of stuff was shot, it was done, there were screeners happening, and then Disney just didn't like what they had done. So they went through, and that's when they were rewriting stuff. Like, this movie has gone through like 8 different rewrites with over like at least 11 different writers. This movie has upwards of 11 or more writer. Like, it has a huge writing team. So just like the trouble that this movie had coming out goes from not only the writing to the production and the development, and then the Disney Fox acquisition happened when the movie was already done, and then Disney just straight up didn't like it, so they had to go and rewrite and reshoot again. And then when those reshoots were supposed to happen, they never actually happened, apparently. So, like, and then that's when Corona happened. So
this movie's a cluster, but
yeah, it's just like all over the place.
But does that do any of those things factor in when you're taking a look at this movie at all? Or
I don't think so. Like, if I hadn't have known that this production was an absolute development hell shit show, I would have figured it was just a good, well-made movie that was written and produced normally like anything else. So the only thing that I can think as to why it isn't doing very well is because it just went through this development hell, and now like people just
they also don't care about it.
They forgot about it.
Yeah,
because like it's good. It's young adult.
We might as well get this out, but
Well, they should have freaking done it at the beginning of the year, like we've been bitching all year, and just released VOD.
Well, there we could go on for another hour on this. I mean, how much? All right, so Disney,
Yeah.
on these Star Wars and Avengers movies, and I don't remember if it's 60 normally or 60-40, but whatever it is normally, Disney upped it for those movies. Like, if you want this movie here, you gotta, they were doing a Marvel, basically,
Well, because they're becoming a monopoly. They can.
Yeah. And, well, this movie theater is going to have to decide, do I want to not have this movie?
Yeah.
Or, do I want to risk it, and
Yeah.
maybe you're locked in.
That was yet again another different step that they had problems with when releasing this, when things were finally done, and it was just in the period where they were figuring out how to release it. They were just arguing about how and where to release, and this was even previous to Corona. It was
people would not be happy the movie theaters prior to COVID would not have been happy, and then during COVID they were really upset anytime. Yeah, I mean,
there were two big ones: Artemis Fowl, and then there was another big one.
There was a cartoon. I can't remember. Was it Trolls 2 or something like that?
That was the first big VOD release that they.
But everybody was like, it doesn't really matter that much, just some kids.
But see, that's the thing. It made hell of money.
Yeah.
So it proved, people will pay. Oh, and then Mulan too. So yeah, for the big VOD releases that were supposed to be theatrical, but then we got VOD. We have Artemis Fowl, we have The Witches, we have friggin' those two that we just said. So it's just we're in October now. We've been in this lockdown for over 6 months waiting for all of these movies. Give us Dune. Just release Dune VOD already. It has been shown to work. It has been shown to make money. Just give us Dune. Drive-in
movies or bust. That's what I say.
That is where I am at. I was already, previous to COVID, I like movies, I love going to the movies. I'm a movie nerd. But when it comes to going to a theater or driving to the drive-in with my vape and my munchies and my blunt and just being able to kick back with my blanket and it's just better. I mean,
all right, one last question from Battle Buddy. Were there any mention of Hellions, Hellfire Club, or Emma Frost in this movie?
I'm going to leave that one unspoiled.
Okay, very good. That sounds like a yes, but I'm going to... That's my interpretation. Anyhow, thank you for this New Mutants review. Oh, we should see it, is what you're telling us. If you like X-Men.
I do actually want to know what other, both people who have read the comic and not read the comic, because I do want to know, as somebody who isn't, terribly read into the New Mutants, I want to know how it is as an adaptation, and then just for people who have not read the comics, I want to know how a normal moviegoer felt about it as a movie, because I liked it. And all of the ratings around and on Letterboxd and stuff, it's not being received well. So yeah, go out, see it. It's not even long. It's an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes.
Oh, that's my favorite length.
I know, right? And yeah, just let me know how it is, because I liked it, and I want to know why it's not being well received.
Maybe the Demon Bear saga, that storyline is when Bill Sienkiewicz. So I'm reading New Mutants since issue 1, and I like New Mutants. It's fun, but it's not X-Men. And I had been reading Moon Knight, and I'm 14 or 16 or something like that. And Bill Sienkiewicz is on Moon Knight, and we find out he's going to be doing New Mutants, and he gets on New Mutants finally, and I'm so super excited. And the Demon Bear saga storyline is the very first storyline that they do, him and Claremont, and it just blew my mind. It's great. Everybody that's read it loves it usually. I don't know if you're a new reader, if you're going to like totally dig it, because, you know, there's so many people out there that do things that, you know, are, you know, kind of like, they kind of ape Sienkiewicz. You know, it's not really like they're biting hard off of them. It's just effects and things that have changed or been accepted are done by more people. And Sienkiewicz at the time was really, you know, the person doing that.
He was distinct too, so you couldn't exactly just like have somebody else do the same thing he did.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, guys, I mean, there's people now that like Sean Alexander, who's been doing Spawn and Philadelphia, and, you know, his own book Empty Zone has a very Sienkiewicz feel. And yeah. I'm sure I could think of some other people, but right now, I don't want to.
No.
That's off the top of my head. So, also, I think you're getting cold. I'm getting tired, and
I can see you starting to like.
That food is also like. Well, I just gotta go home eventually. You know,
like that. Oh yeah, you're still at the shop.
I am. That's why I look so great. There's some books that are coming out tomorrow that you should pay attention to if you haven't read them. Actually, this came out last week, and it's Hard Time. It's about a kid that develops superpowers as he's being tried for murder in a Columbine-style shooting that he was involved in. Ooh. And his powers take effect, and everybody in the courtroom is killed. And he's like sentenced to triple murder, quadruple, you know, whatever. I mean, I can't even say numbers. But it's about his life in prison. Very good.
Interesting. Like kid.
Yeah. He's like 14. Wow. They try him as an adult. You know, he's on death row the whole time. He's meeting all these hardened criminals, and he's just, you know, stupid. Thor by Donny Cates. This is the first 6 issues.
Oh, finally.
He becomes a Herald of Galactus. This was a mini or a zine that I bought back when we first opened, called Titan. I didn't know that it had been finished, and now it's collected. It's about...
That's long for a zine.
Well, I mean, I say zine, but it's a mini comic book, yeah. And they were very well produced. They were like 25 pages. And like I said, I didn't know that they completed it. It's about a mining colony on a moon of Titan. And this guy down here is coming from Earth, representing the company as the people that work on Titan that are kind of bred to like work there. So like they can never leave this atmosphere or they would die. They're like gianty, you know, very big.
Yeah.
He's coming to negotiate with them because they're workers and they've got disputes. And it was interesting. I only read the first issue, but I got the trade. Iron Man's cool. Good art.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was that cover Alex Ross?
Who is this cover? Yeah, I think it is Alex Ross.
Like just a little flash. Like whenever he does gold, you can really tell.
Yeah. Punchline came out this week.
Ooh.
This is the new Joker girlfriend, if you will.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was the chick that was like really like killing everybody, right?
Yeah. So this is her after getting caught. And it's a pretty cool story about her leaving messages to people out there. And if you're interested, she tells her own story. And it's like done by days. And we're following one of our Batman characters that have been around for a while. And he's kind of like buying into it. Meanwhile, his sister's like, "You're listening to this garbage?" And Punchline's trying to make herself sound sympathetic to the people of Gotham for what she's what she's done. She didn't really do it. Joker's a bad guy that manipulates people, etc., etc. It was a good story.
And is it long running, limited, one shot?
One shot.
One
or she'll be in Batman books in the future.
But that one is
Yeah.
just one shot. I'm gonna check that. Oh yeah,
Strange
4 or 5.
Cat, 5.
5. Okay, I need 4 and 5.
All right, I'll help you with that.
Yeah, I'll see when
We only find them when they're dead has been selling pretty well for us. This is about the people that harvest dead celestials.
Ooh.
At the end of the first issue, they're like, "Oh, let's maybe like look for a living one." And it's like, what?
Marvel Celestials or just
God celestials,
okay,
things
so
out there in
that is
space
not
that
a
are
Marvel title. That's
no. They're big enough for you to go out and harvest their organs, though. So yeah, they're very large, like celestials at Marvel.
Yeah, but
anyway, those are some comics that are coming out tomorrow, and you should check them out. So we could keep this comic book a little bit. You know, it can't just be New Mutants movie all night long.
Well, I mean, I could read the New Mutants eventually somewhere if I could find them in all of my comics.
Dude, I usually it's like volume 2 or volume 3. Whenever Sienkiewicz starts up, Claremont really starts to feed off his energy, and the stories are a lot more. They were kind of plotting in the beginning, and although we were getting to know these characters, the stories were kind of not that great. But when Sienkiewicz came in, he was just boom. Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the ones. Just to let everybody know, we have a Patreon. Thank you, everybody that has donated in the past. You can do it one time or a recurring monthly charge. We don't really offer anything other than your, hey, thank you. But I really want to do something for that eventually, if not only to put some like audio thing out there for people to listen to that are strictly comic book related, because I don't really get to it as often in the show here. And if I have a little bit more, focus, maybe people that would be interested in will listen to it. So that'd be you, because you care.
Give us some ideas. What do you want?
What do you want? Let me know after the fact in the chat, or in the comments down below. You can let us know what you would expect from a store-driven comic book show. I think we ultimately do the trick, but it's a little out. I would like a little bit more format. It's never going to happen.
Well, I can get back to some comic reviews next week. I still got like the Star Wars 4. I want to do the Real Game in freaking that one.
Number 2 came out.
Oh, it did. Okay.
Yeah. You got to get in here.
Okay.
Just like everybody else, get in your local comic store, especially this one if you're in Berkeley. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in.
Tired.
It's not tired. My mouth just isn't working right.